All right, welcome back. And today we are going to talk about control flow. Now, what is a control flow? Well, let's look at this code for now. Can you tell me what this code does? So how would you go about telling me what this code does? What you would do is you would read the code line by line and tell me what happened. For example, first you define website welcome, and that has the parameter name and age, and then these are the instructions for this function. And then you have another function that's being defined called eat apples, and then you have another function called can watch movie, and then that returns true. And then what happens is you call the function website welcome with the argument John and 18. And that means you're going to be executing these instructions with the parameters John and 18. So you would probably get a variable greetings that says welcome name, which is John, welcome John. And then it's going to print welcome John. And then your year born would be 2020 minus your age, which is 18. So you would get 2002. And then it would be printed, you were born in 2002. So how did you know that it wouldn't print you were born in and then it would print welcome? Well, that's because of control flow. You know that the program will be read sequentially. It's going to follow the set of instructions from top to bottom. But can we change that? And that is basically the premise of today's lesson. So let's just run this. Yep, indeed, you get welcome John, you were born in 2002. Every time we see a function, it's going to go from one instruction to the next, right? From top to bottom. But today we are going to learn about control structures, and we use control structures to alter control flow, because sometimes you don't just go straight. You might hit a division and then you could either go left or right. So what I mean by that, let's look at some slides. So imagine if you own a website and you only allow people who are above 18 to register for the website. So what kind of control flow would you have? Well, first you start over here, and then depending on if they are over 18, if they are, then you allow them to enter the website. If not, then you remove them from the website. End. Now, back then, our control flow for our previous program, it was always a straight line. For example, let me draw something right here. It would be like start, and then you would do something, and then you would do another thing, and then you would do another thing, do 3. But what if you don't want it in a straight line? What if you, depending on certain parameters, you want to do something else, do 4? Or maybe even do 5, and then never even reach do 2 and do 3. This is control structures, and we have certain syntax for that. We have certain words to tell the program to think about either going left or right. So let's take an example here, control flow. Are you 18? If yes, you enter the website. If no, you remove from website, and then that's pretty much it. Let's go back to our program. Let's change website welcome. Let's make this function to be the same as this control flow. So instead, let's have the same thing, name and age. But first, what we do is we're gonna see if they're older than 18 or not. Now remember, we have something called Boolean. Booleans are super important for control flows, because how do you control the flow is by reading Booleans. So here's something that you've never seen. The statement is called if. So you can do if, and then you can write a statement, and then depending on if it's true or false, you will change the control flow. So for example, if age is bigger and equal to 18, then do something. But what if they are not? How do we encapsulate that? Well, you can do something called else, and then it would go to those statements instead. I'm gonna delete all of these lines for now. So if they were older than 18, what I want to write is welcome, whatever his name is, and then exclamation point, okay? What if their age is less than 18? Then what I'm going to do is, you are not welcome. Oops, you are not welcome. You are too young, right? So this is the control flow. As you can see, remember what I talked about defining a definition, and then you have this space over here. For this control flow, if you said if, you give this certain statements, and then you're gonna have to do colon, and then anything after it means it's gonna be executed. So this space indicates that it's gonna execute everything that has a space on it, right? It's kind of like a scope. You could think of it as a parentheses in some ways. It's like these right here. You know that if that statement is true, that the age is greater or equal than 18, then it's gonna do everything in these statements, right? So you could do multiple statements too, right? You could have another statement here. It says, you are very old, and then print the age, right? So you can have multiple statements. So these two instructions are within this if statement. And then these ones over here, what we can do is we can also tell them, wait another year or wait another few years. How will we do that? We can do years left equals 18 minus age, which will calculate how many more years before they become 18. And then I would print wait another, and then add years left. All right, and then wait another X amount of years. That's pretty much it. That will be my website welcome message, for example. And then let's run this. Oops, there's a little error here. Name, and then what you can do, it's because I did not add the plus sign. Oopsies. Run again. Okay, cool. As you can see, when I call website welcome John 18, since 18 satisfies this constraint, what does this output? Age bigger or equal to 18. It outputs true. So because it's true, it's gonna do this. And it's not gonna do that because these statements are kind of together. If larger than 18, equal or larger than 18, then you're gonna be doing these statements. If not, then you're gonna be doing those statements, right? So let's try something else. Let's try my younger brother, Josh, and he will be, let's say, 15. What will happen? You are not welcome. You are too young. Wait another 3 years. So as you can see, because age bigger and equal to 18 does not satisfy, because 15 is not bigger than 18, then what happened is these are not going to get executed. It's going to execute this part, right? You are not welcome. You're too young. That's pretty cool, right? So that's pretty much what control flow is, and that's what we did here, okay? So what if we want to do something different? What if we want to do this? Instead of a website, we are now looking at a movie. And this movie is rated R. Are you 17 plus years old? If yes, then just enjoy the movie. If you're not 17 years old, then are you with your parents? If you are with your parents, that's totally fine. You can enjoy the movie. But if you're not with your parents, you cannot watch the movie. And then that's pretty much it. So how can we write this in code? So let's do it here. Can watch movie. Right now it's only set to return true. What we want is to return true if you can watch the movie and return false if you cannot. So let's do the easy part first. What do you need? You need an age first. So let's add the parameter age. So we modify our function so that it takes a parameter age. And then we're gonna check if the age is bigger or equal to 17. If that person is older than 17, then you're simply gonna return true, okay? I'm gonna delete this because we don't need this anymore. And then if else, then what happened? We return false because you can't watch the movie. But what about if you're with your parents? So let's add another parameter here with parents. Now, because we have with parents, and that would either be true or false, then what we can do is if you are with parents, then you could return true. But then if not, then you return false. All right. So this is what we call like a nested if statement because the if statement is inside the if statement. So let's just run that for now. We'll delete this and then we run that. We call the function can watch movie and we give it an age. Let's say we give it 18, and then with parents, false, not with parents. Excellent, you can still watch the movie. What if you are 16 and you want to watch the movie and you're not with parents? You cannot watch it. Okay, but this time your parents is here. Can you watch the movie? Yes, you can. Even if you're 2 years old, you can watch the movie because you're with your parents. What if I'm 18 and I have my parents with me? Well, it's still going to be true. It doesn't matter. So as you can see, this is the control flow. What happens is, let's look at this one. Can watch movie, or this one. Can watch movie, and you're 2 years old, and it's true. So if it's 2, your age is 2. Is it bigger than 17? No, it's not. So I'm going to go to this statement. Okay, I'm going through this statement. Am I with parents? Yes, I am. Okay, this becomes true, so that means I will go here. And then I will return true. So this is how if statements work. But here's one thing that you can also do. You can add something called ELIF, which actually means else if. So this is basically kind of another set of if instruction where you can see if it satisfies the statement. So here I want to say if age is smaller than 17, but, or like and, you're with your parents, so parents is true, then I'm also going to return true. And then else is if you are not with your parents, then I'll return false. Now let's try to run this. And now we're going to see if we can watch the movie. So if you were 2 years old, but you're with your parents, then you're going to return true. That's great. If you're over 17 and you're not with your parents, you can still watch it. What if you are 16, but you're not with your parents? Then it's false. So this actually gives us the same thing, but written differently. Now, if you want to be fancy, it's actually a lot easier to write this function. You can also say if age is bigger than 17, or you're with your parents, then return true. And then if not, then return false. This actually works too, because either you're older than 17 or you are with your parents, then you're allowed to watch the movie, or else false. So that's pretty cool. We were able to write this function in a different way, or like 3 different ways actually. We wrote it 3 different ways, but they all output the same thing. So that's the beauty of programming, is that there are many ways of doing one thing, but there are some ways that might be better than others. For example, this code is a lot more clean than the ones we had before. So let's test it out. If I'm 18 and I'm not with my parents, I can watch it, great. If I'm 1 year old, but I'm with my parents, I can watch it, yes, that's right. If I'm not with my parents, then I cannot watch it. So that is basically the if-else control flow.